Hi, folks. Welcome to another edition on the questions and facts about blind people. And as you can see, I have a friend of mine with me, and his name is John. He has a YouTube channel that he's going to be hopefully going to be starting. He has one on at the moment, so I'm introducing you to him, and today's question, he's all the way from the US, and so today's question is going to be a very big question. It'll take quite a bit of explanation. And today's question is, what is the difference? So Canada, me being a Canadian, versus the US. What are they like? And John and I are gonna both compare our differences, what we notice. Of course, we can't speak on behalf of all blind people, but what we've noticed. This is only our opinions, and we're gonna divide this into a few different sections. Transportation. People like helping and the amount of help, services, and other stuff like this, and we'll also be giving some things that maybe may want to consider if you're blind about moving to Canada, or whether you if you're from the States, maybe you would like moving to Canada better if you're able to somehow. And we'll talk about what would be better, and then you can compare the two of us and figure out from there. So John, thank you so much for joining me.
Not a problem at all. It's great to be here.
John's experience in Canada has been absolutely incredible. We have been extremely generous and loving, and actually, side note, FYI, John got quite a little emotional because of the way that he felt accepted here, and we'll tell you about why as we go along in this podcast, in this video. So let's start with first of all. I'd like to start off with money. So our money in Canada, for you sighted viewers, maybe you may or may not know this, but we actually have Braille on our bills. Yes, we actually have Braille on our bills. If you guys ever have a Canadian bill, feel around on the top left corner, or somewhere on the bill, you should see on one of the corners there's some Braille on there, and on the Braille there is one set of dots that represents a 5, 2 representing 10, 3 representing 20. 4 representing 50, and a $100 bill is two sets of dots. For you blind viewers, you know what I'm talking about, like a full cell. Dots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's what Braille is. But they're spaced out between the two of them are spaced out. So you get one on the very corner, and then you get one. Where the dot representing the sets of dots, this full cell representing a 10 is it's blank, but rather it has been moved a couple of spaces further, and that is $100 bill. So and the coins in Canada are even more easy to tell, because a toonie, which is $2, is has the rough and smooth edges. The loonie, which is $1 in Canada, is has little corners, like little, almost like an octagon or something like that. Like you can feel when you look at it. It's very smooth, though. A quarter, which is 25 cents, has completely rough around the edges. A dime, which is 10 cents, is is rough around the edge, which is very small. It's our smallest coin, actually. A nickel is 5 cents. Just like in the U.S., we have nickels as well, and they are smooth around the edges without any corners. We do, for those of you that don't know, we actually got rid of our pennies a bit ago. So now the highest you can go is nickels. So that's what our money is like in Canada. And so, John, why don't you explain what money is like in the U.S.?
Okay, so for those of you who can see, the money has the different logos and the presidents and all of them and all of that. Well, the difference is between Canada's money and our money's not brailled, so we have no idea of how much money we have in our hand. And we always have to rely on sighted people to help us with that. And one of the things that I've noticed is that some sighted people can't be trusted because they do tend to take advantage of me, which we'll tackle later on. For those of you, we have quarters, which are 25 cents. We have dimes, which are 10 cents. Nickels that are 5 cents, and we still have the pennies that are just 1 cent. We have not gotten rid of our pennies yet. Now, for those of you who are wanting to know how does a blind person manage their money properly, well, especially when we're carrying dollar bills around, we're carrying cash around and whatnot, we have different ways of doing it. We fold our fives once with a $5 bill. We fold them again if it's a 10, 3 times if it's a 20, 4 times if it's a 50, and 5 times if it's 100, basically.
So in Canada, we're considered very lucky because in Canada, we know what we're being given. The other thing is we also know whether our money is fake. So in theory, blind people could actually tell if it's fake money or not just by the braille. So you sighted people you think that money is fake and you're not looking at it. Well, guess what? Technically, blind people would be able to tell it's fake just by feeling the braille, but it's not there. Now, there are sometimes the Canadian money, the braille does fade out from time to time. And if that happens, we generally go to any bank. We can go to pretty much any bank and exchange it for another bill of the same size. They just exchange it and then give us another bill. Or you can go into pretty much any store and get a bill of the same and stuff like that. So that's not really an issue. That's how we handle our money when it comes to cash. We're pretty good around here. So is that all for the money, John?
The downstairs, down in the U.S., we have different. We don't know if money's fake or not, because because obviously the money is not brailled, so we won't know if we're giving someone a fake dollar bill or not.
One thing that happens in the U.S., I hear about it all the time, and I'm going to tackle something that I'll come back to later. But we hear all the time about blind people being taken advantage of by people in the U.S. So what I mean by that is, if you go into to get candies or something, and you want to buy something that's $5, but you give them a 20, well, naturally, you're expected to get you're due to get 15 back in change, right? That's right, John.
Yeah.
However, and this is the mistake that people do. It's wrong. It's not nice. It's not great. It's illegal, actually, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is they'll say that they're given $15 in change, but really, you give them 4 singles, as you guys like to call it over there.
Yeah,
it's or 3 singles. My fault.
Yeah.
It's not. It's terrible. It happens all the time in the U.S. It's absolutely disgrace. I cannot believe it that in Canada you would not get that. You would not get that. The only drawback is now we are getting debit machines that talk. They're starting to appear. And it's really good. Not all debit machine models talk, but there are more and more coming out that do. Some debit machines are touchscreen. Guys, if you're opening up a business and you want to be blind friendly, don't get a touchscreen debit machine, please. Or make sure you get one that has buttons that you can use. If one of your viewers are in Canada, you can always, for my Canadian viewers, you can always order the Manieras V400 series machines. They talk. They have explain everything that the user does and whatnot. Maybe I'll do a video sometime explaining and showing you how that works. Yes, it is easy to take advantage in Canada, but not as easy as it is in the US. So please don't be that person to take advantage of a blind person. It really, really will get you into a bad situation if that be the case. So, that's it for the money, right, John?
Actually, I just wanted to say this. People, for those of you that are listening in the U.S., there are a lot, and this was what really makes me upset and makes me mad. Please, people, you need to stop. Since we are totally blind, we rely on you. Please, people, stop. You have to be able to trust us. We're not going to hurt you. We don't bite. It has to be. You have to be able to trust us, and we have to be able to trust you. And we're relying on you to help us out. So the more you take advantage of us, the less likely we're able to trust you.
Exactly right. And so, if give us the right amount of change, that's the other thing. I forgot. I've also heard of the opposite happening. I've also heard of people saying, when a blind person shows you somebody money, they'll say, "Oh, that's a $1 bill. That's a $5 bill." When really they're showing you a 20. Don't be that person to take advantage of them, and because of their blindness, saying that bill is a certain amount when it actually isn't. Don't be that person, please. Like I say, we want to trust you. We need you to trust us. So that's one of the biggest things about money in the U.S. and Canada. It's pretty good everywhere. And with debit machines on Canada, it's very easy with the debit machines that don't talk. It's very easy to take advantage of because we can't see the screen. Thank goodness I have not had that happen where I've been taken advantage of. I have been close to having that happen, but it is very important that you do that, because not doing that can get your business in it's a legal situation if that happens.
And I wanted to touch on that also. In the U.S., we don't have any debit machines that talk. We have debit machines that will say thank you, or they might say how much something is, but they won't say
insert
your card. They won't say anything like that.
Enter PIN.
PIN. They don't say anything like that either. So all I'm asking is, in order for us blind people to actively and effectively purchase stuff on our own, especially for those who are running grocery stores, we have you guys have the self checkouts. Those screens are not very accessible. They're touch screens. They don't have they don't have any kind of marking on them to know how we can, so, and then it makes it more problematic because we don't know how to scan the items
right
on the thing. And it makes it a lot harder for us because in today's day and age, there's not a lot of, everything's going digital. Everything is going to Shipped and DoorDash. And for those of you who are on those, you'll know what I'm talking about. And I have heard stories of people not getting their groceries or getting their entire orders, or not getting their entire orders that they order from.
So, and some checkouts do have a headphone jack in it that does make it easier slightly. I never really fitted around with that many self-checkouts yet. I guess I should. The one at our grocery store here in Kirkland Lake, where I'm from, do not. In fact, all it says is thank you for shopping with us. That's literally all it says. It used to say thank you for using self-checkout. But that's all it says. Of course, other grocery stores do have them so that they do talk fully, which is a great touch. It's nice, but then how are you going to know where you're scanning items? So, but anyways, so that's all about the money, general idea.
Mm-hmm.
So the next thing that we want to talk to you about is transportation. This one will be a little more standard. In Canada, now most transportation agencies do this. I say most because not all do. But if I'm just gonna check to make sure we're still recording. Just a second. You'll probably hear my voice.
Speech on. Pause video. Stop recording video. Speech off.
Good. Sorry about that, guys. So one thing you'll notice is with transportation is that for blind people in Canada, most transportations allow blind people to ride their transportation for free. This is especially so on buses. It's a nice touch because of the CNIB being supportive over this. Not all cities, it all really depends on the city, but it is usually standard across the board to do that. Like I know Toronto does, Ottawa does, I know cities like Brantford does, North Bay does, apparently Hamilton does not. Now, I don't quote me on this because it's been a while since So I don't know if Hamilton has changed or not, but maybe one of you can tell me in the comments. So if you would like to know if blind people ride for free on your transportation in your city, leave it in the comments, because I would love to have a list of what is free to ride for blind people, and it does include trains sometimes. The Toronto ferry I can ride for free. We get given a special card that we show. If they ask for it, we get given a special card, a CNIB card, that we scan, that we can show the people at the agency, and they should let us on for free. If your city does not allow blind people to ride for free, I urge you to do that. It would be very good for those who are visitors as well. I know it might sound like you're trying to take advantage and you're losing money, but I can promise you not everybody in the world is blind or visually impaired. So that's what our transportation... one thing that most places have in common, and even in the US, I know this because I watched a lot of transportation videos, they all announce with stops. So that's one thing they do. We do have the same. Most transportations in the world do that. That's one good thing. And that's what the Canadian sort of a transportation feels like. Do you have anything to add to that, John?
Yeah, I wanted to touch on what we have down in the States, because as the host, Jacob, was saying, they up there get to ride the buses for free. Down in the States, we don't have a disability card like they have up here. So we don't get that kind of treatment. It's gone down from, the United States has a mindset of, it's all about money. We don't care about you or your disability or whatever. That is not the way you treat a blind person or anybody with a disability. We in the United States, our disabilities have been a minority for centuries. And that is not a good thing. It needs to stop, because we as blind people down in the States feel excluded from the services that we feel that we need to have.
You should be getting.
Yeah, that we should be getting. And the services that we do have down there are only because they're still run by people that want to have them open.
Right, they specifically meant for people with disabilities. But not everybody feels like they want to rely on that sort of service. When I lived in North Bay, I could ride the bus by myself and get around town completely on my own because of that. But to take the bus everywhere, for us blind people, and I'll tell you this, one thing about blind people, a lot of blind people all over the world, a lot of us are on low income. We don't get given a lot of money from the government. Not as much money as we should. And so because of that, transportation is vital for us, especially in a small town or in a big city or whatever that has the bus. So if, like I said, if your bus doesn't allow blind people to ride for free, I strongly urge you to make that happen. If you own a transportation service, do consider putting that up, and if you're in the US, maybe find a way that they can get a card that they can show that proves that they are blind. Or does the NFB have a card that they use, John?
No. A lot of the blindness organizations in the States do not have cards that they can use.
So
we have now we have like an ADA card that we show people, but
that just
proves that you
have a disability.
but that doesn't show anything other than that.
So if you own a transportation service in the States, you could make a card that is meant for blind people that they could either get for free or buy for like a super small fee, and that card would prove to the driver of those vehicles and saying, okay, he's blind, he goes on for free. That's the something you can I recommend that you do. It would you would get a lot more customers and stuff like that.
I think too, one of it is the United States in the whole is all about money. They don't care about. I'm not going to say everybody doesn't, because there are some people out there that do still care, but the majority of people in the United States don't care. They don't care about us blind people. They don't care about us as people with disabilities. They just don't care.
They're all about hustle and bustle.
Exactly. They're about making money. How much money can I make off this person? What's my quota going to be? This and that and the third. It's about them and them only. They have that mindset of me, I don't care.
And that brings us to our third topic, is the people itself, from the different or each other's countries. So John has been here last night and spent a full day today, and already he has experienced the love of what us Canadians give, hospitality. And like I said, John really felt accepted here. This feels like, John, you said that this feels like home to you, right?
I just feel like I've returned home, honestly. And I'll say this at the end, to the viewers. I just feel like whenever I go home, I'm just gonna feel isolated and feel like I'm not really accepted. Really, yes, yeah. I have had some problems where I burnt bridges with people that wanted to help me, but that shouldn't be a reason for other people to not treat me and not take advantage of me like people have.
Right.
And I think that, again, it all goes back to the mindset and the mental awareness.
See, the other thing about in Canada, we love our. I'm just gonna check to make sure we're still recording. Just a second. You'll hear voiceover again, guys.
Speech off. Fate stop recording video. Yep. Speech off.
Still going. One thing about Canada, the U.S. guys, for you U.S. viewers, a very interesting thing. A lot of people in the U.S. Some people would know this, some people don't. But in Canada, if you were to ever move to Canada, we have free healthcare. If you ever become a permanent resident or a Canadian citizen, we give you free healthcare as part of you get given a card. So if you live in Ontario, you would get what we call an Ontario Health card, or as we call it, OHIP. And if you live in a BC, you get given the same sort of card, except it's for the British Columbia. I don't know the name of it, but every province has their own health card that you can get. Whereas in the US, the only technical way, if you need like a minor or a major health care, is whatever, it has to do with what you're paying with your insurance. What I wish you guys would do would be, we should merge our healthcare system and make it as one, where if we come to the US or you come to us, we should be giving you guys free healthcare, those who come here, and you should be giving us free healthcare when we come to you, because there's a lot of Canadians that go to the U.S. to visit you guys. You know, we love getting away, especially during the winter. So, our healthcare system is definitely, I find, is better. The one downside that I noticed is that the healthcare system in the US, yes, you pay, but the hospitals do have a tendency of being cleaner, but it's still, World Health regulations. It still follows the whole, protocol. So it's our healthcare system is great here. There's some things that need to be improved in terms of the U.S.
I think one of the things that, a lot of it too is some of the health insurance companies in the U.S., as all of you U.S. viewers know, is some of the insurance companies offer a healthcare debit card, and you can buy certain things with it. And if you're over a certain amount of money, you automatically get denied. Even though you're totally blind and not able to see, like myself, like I am.
And again, a lot of blind people are on low income.
And a lot of it too is, it's all about, it shouldn't be how much money you make. It shouldn't be about, it should be on, if you're a totally blind person, it should be on a case-by-case basis. Can you take care of yourself? Can you, if, let's say you need help with just the minimal things, cooking, cleaning, grocery shopping, or what have you, and you don't have any close family, or what have you, you should be able to get the help you need without having to tell them how much money you make. It just doesn't make sense. I don't understand it. And again, it just needs to be
right. It needs to be resolved.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna see how long we've been recording for. Bear with me.
Speech, pause video, take picture, pause, stop, face near 32 minutes, 54.
Oh, well, we've been rolling for about
Face,
half an hour.
pause video, speech off. Speech, stop recording video, speech
Sorry,
off.
guys. Okay. So yeah. So So that's a lot about what we tend to get as services, and now I'm going to talk to you more about blind services itself, CNIB versus NFB and the other services that you guys get in the U.S. Now this is a big one. So now I believe, John, it varies from state to state, right?
Yes, it does.
So we have done some very careful research. But if we happen to be wrong, tell us in the comments. But from analyzing everything, well, first of all, let me talk to you about CNIB. CNIB, for you American viewers, stands for the Canadian National Institute for the Blind. And it's a Canada-wide program. They're everywhere, and they are, like I said, they're Canadian-based, and they have every support that you could want if you're blind. So if you need help with getting around, learning how to use your cane, learning, maybe you need some life skills of independence, maybe you need to learn how to go. Maybe you need help getting a computer, or learning how to use a computer, or other things like that. And they have a whole. Maybe you need something written in Braille, and whatnot. The CNIB does all that. They also have rehabilitations for people who have lost their sight recently, to basically trying to get them back on their feet again. So they're making sure that they are equipped with the technology to help you with that. So, for example, my cane that I always walk around with comes from the CNIB. It's ordered through fundings for Ontario. We get something called Assistive Devices Program, and they fund for a lot of things, not just blind people, but people with disabilities. Assistive Devices Program can help, for example, me as a blind person get a cane, a computer, printer, a braille printer, a scanner. They can supply with the necessary assessments to make sure that if you need something for work, or even at home. Like right now, I'm currently waiting to hear. Waiting to get my new laptop coming out. That's going to be happening very soon. So in Canada, we tend to have more support for people with blind and other disabilities as well, and we really stick to it and make sure that we have the resources here. John, on the other hand, he is from Michigan. So
Yes.
with Michigan, John will tell you what we've noticed about Michigan and what we've noticed about a couple of other states that are they do vary depending on where you are. It does depend from state to state where you are from. So tell us what you know, John.
Okay, so in Michigan, where I'm from is the capital city of Michigan. For those of you, for U.S. viewers, I am from. I can just say Michigan, because I do work in a high sector of government, which I won't get into here. All I can say is it's one of the poorest states for blindness services. Now, the one good thing about Michigan is they're trying to. One moment. Excuse me. They're trying to cut down on the homelessness rate and get housing and whatnot. But that's another topic for another time. Anyway, the blindness services here are in Michigan are non-existent. A lot of it has gone out the window. The Michigan School for the Blind shut down in 1995 or 94, something like that, when our Governor Engler, had decided to shut down the school for funding reasons, because he was just, wanting more money and was trying to save money and thought it would be a good idea to shut down the School for the Blind. So we have no more blindness services other than the Bureau of Services for blind persons. Now, what that is an agency where they help you with finding work, and they have services where if you're working, they'll help you with mobility. They'll help you on the job training, that kind of thing. The agency contracts out with different companies to do that. It's been very hard for me ever since I started getting more money. It's been a lot harder for me to get services or any kind of help. I've had to I've been on my own, living off the assisted of the government and my work checks at work. And I'm not making a lot of money right now. I am only making
a small amount to get by, basically speaking.
Yeah.
Is
I'm only getting Social Security and the work environment that I'm in is really toxic right now. It's not a good environment for
they
me
don't
to
treat
be in.
they don't treat him very nice in his workplace at all. It's not a very work friendly place to work, and so for him, I think a job for us disabilities is, if you're gonna hire somebody with a disability, please, and this is even in Canada too, please be accommodating. Some things we do need to take time to learn, but when we can do our jobs. We can do jobs like this. We can be a switchboard in a hospital or in a hotel, or we can work in a store that doing different things or stuff like that. We can do the job. You just have to be patient with us to do the training.
Actually, and a lot of it too. Thanks for bringing that up, Jacob. A lot of it, especially down in the U.S., for those of you watching out there, for the employers that don't want to take the time to do it, I would strongly encourage you to do so. Look at the different systems out there for people who are visually impaired. And for those of you who are looking for call center agents for any kind of banks or credit unions or what have you, please, I urge you, please look into systems and look into different things that could be effective in, hiring somebody with a disability. It doesn't matter if they're blind, it doesn't matter if they can't walk, what have you, whatever the case may be. Please, 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 please. There's been enough discrimination going on. It's not the discrimination, that's all it is.
That's the other thing is, I'm just going to check real quick. Let me see. We're making sure we're still rolling.
Speech on face near stop record.
Yes, we're still rolling.
Face 43 minutes. Stop recording video. Speech off.
One thing about the US and Canada, now you do occasionally get disability discrimination in Canada. Not as often as in the US. In the US, it's definitely out there, for sure. In Canada, you do get the occasional discrimination, and in fact, very soon, providing that our government doesn't postpone it, in Ontario, there's actually going to be a law that forbids discrimination of any kind of both employees and customers, and all public buildings will eventually be accessible. Doesn't matter what building type it is, whether it be schools, hotels, hospitals, restaurants, stores, you name it. They all have to have wheelchair access. They all have to have braille signs in hotels and braille menus in restaurants, and stuff like that. Really quickly, going back about money, sorry, I forgot to mention one thing, is ATM machines are pretty much everywhere. We can use ATM machines. They have headphones. So ATM machines have a headphone. Maybe you sighted people might have noticed that there is a headphone jack where you can put it in. But maybe some of you sighted people are wondering, well, what exactly is the point of that thing? And the reason being of that there is so that blind people like me can use the ATM machine and get privacy, and it'll talk to us and tell us what's on the screen. And in Canadian law, according to the Canadian Disability and as well as the AODA, the ODA in 2005 tells us that all the ATM machines have to be accessible. And in the States, it's the same thing. They had to fight in court for that sort of thing a while back. And they're still trying to fight some people, right, John?
Let me give you a little backstory on that. The National Federation of the Blind put a class action lawsuit against all the major banks and all the ATM providers out there. The judge in federal court ordered all the big banks and all the ATM vendors and issuers of those ATM company and the ATM machines, whether it's a grocery store, outside ATM, whatever, that all of them have to have headphone connectors. And they also have to have Braille on the machines.
Now, very curiously, and I'm going to show John about that on Tuesday. He's not going to believe it. But very curiously, Royal Bank, or one of Canada's biggest bank branch, curiously, they do not have Braille on their ATMs. That's right. I'll say it again. They do not have Braille on their ATMs. TD and all the other banks do have Braille on their ATMs, but Royal Bank of Canada does not. So it's very surprising that Canada's biggest bank has not does not have Braille on their ATMs. So if you are watching and one of you works for RBC, might want to update your ATM machines to include Braille on your machines where it says insert cash or insert check or print receipt or insert card. I strongly recommend that you do that. But yeah, getting banking is very, very friendly here and whatnot. But yeah, so our system here is really, really good. If there's one thing we love to do is we love to help people. We don't really care. We're not money hungry here. We love, maybe you Americans have heard us, and maybe you other international folks have always heard of Canadians being extra polite. And I suppose that's true. Yes, I believe that's true. And yes, I will admit, and we Canadians always say sorry. Yes, I do apologize a lot of the time, and I even tend to say sorry when I am, even if I'm not offended or if something is wrong, even if something super small, I'll end up saying sorry, and we always end up saying no need to apologize and stuff like that. So I find that we're very sensitive to people's feelings in Canada. Would you say that, John?
Yeah, I would say a lot of it is down in the US, there are some people that do say no worries, it's not a problem, whatever. But a lot of the times I've come across people that have just that are just putting on facades. And that is something I'm really disliking. Sorry, Jay.
No.
That I'm really disliking, because act yourselves. Don't pretend to say it's okay when it's not okay. Be yourselves. It's really getting frustrating to me. Especially when people pretend to feel okay, but they're not.
Right. Yes. I have noticed that when people... Now, here, if I accidentally hit somebody with my cane, 99% of the people that I've ever seen have been really accommodating. I've even asked people if some people would even ask me if I need help getting somewhere and whatnot. And I guess, John, what you're saying is, yes, there are nice people in the U.S. Of course there are, but some people do not. They don't really take the time to help.
Exactly.
Someone.
There are some people that do.
Yep.
But all I'm saying is that and this is why I really like working with kids, because I'm able to teach them when they're young about the blind, and being able to do that, having them learn ahead of time will help them later on in their adult lives.
John and I both work with kids. I do it in my area. I do it. John would do it anywhere. So if you know of any blind people that would be willing to talk to children about them, or those people who are in Ontario. I know quite a few people in Ontario and the surroundings. So if you guys ever are a principal at a school and you want me to come in and talk to your kids, we usually prefer doing it one class at a time, because our presentations, at least I can't speak for all blind people, we like to be hands-on. We like to feel the kids' hands so that we know who they are, and it teaches them not to just rely on their eyes, but with blind people, they have to get used to the feeling of touching their hands, and I feel that that's very important.
For those of you in the U.S., also same thing. If there's ever a need where you want me to come in, I'm always available on Fridays because I'm not working, but all the rest of the week I am working. But if there's ever a time on a Friday, especially with the schools, the principals, what have you, if you ever want me to come in and talk with any of the classes about blindness and how blind people navigate to the children, I would be more than happy to do so. I just think it would be very informative and very beneficial for them if they were to have that experience of learning about blindness ahead of time, because for a lot of the kids, they have never experienced a blind person before.
And not only that, but our biggest worry is that you never know. One of the kids might go blind someday, and so we would rather you know what to do ahead of time, so that your child or even adults. I even noticed some adults sometimes need education, and I find that adults they see a blind person walking around. I'll give you an example. Some adults see a blind person walking around with something in their hand. They see a guy walking around with something in their hand, and some people call it a stick. Some people call it a metal pole. Some people call it like a walking stick. No, let me be very clear about that. We tend to call it a cane.
And if you look at the NFB white canes, it has the NFB logo on it, and it clearly says on the cane, National Federation of the Blind.
Same thing with I don't know if it says it on CNIB, but I'm sure you Canadian people can tell me. But the reason why that the cane is white, you know that the person is blind because the cane is white and with a red tip on the bottom, and that should tell you automatically that that person is blind, completely legally blind, meaning they can't see at all. There's a difference between being blind and being visually impaired. Being visually impaired means they can see far, like not so far off distance, maybe they need glasses or stuff like that, or have a hard time reading small print. Being fully blind means that you can see light perception, or you can't see at all, anything below that. So if you see somebody with a white cane, please don't be afraid to ask if they need help. We would rather. I do know that there are some people that say, oh, I don't want your help, I don't need your, but or I've even had people yell at somebody. I've even heard of people yelling at other people saying, "How dare you ask for my help," and stuff like that. Well, we're trying to be nice. Like, they're trying to be nice, So for you people who are watching but are blind, just show them, tell them that you appreciate. No, I don't need help. I know where I'm going, but don't be afraid to ask if you need any help doing something, whether it be crossing the street or whether it be getting a walk. Because for us blind people, we would rather be safe and sorry.
I think one of the things that a lot of, and just to touch on what Jacob said, we're not going to bite you, okay? We're harmless. We're not, and this is one of the things that blindness can happen in several ways, and I would really like to get to that about how I became blind and all of that. But anyway, so
I'm sure John will be doing some videos on his channel about that, so do keep an eye out for that. Yeah. John will be doing some different videos, and I'm sure he can tell you about being blind as well and stuff like that, and on his video. Yeah. So I'm sure he can tell you his. By the way, we will. I'll put a link to his channel in the video description, so you can look for his channel and subscribe to him. Exactly. And whatnot. Exactly. But overall, guys, that's basically a big overview as to what the difference between is being blind, life of being a blind person in Canada versus in the US, and stuff like that. Let me just see where we're at here.
Speech face near 57 minutes.
Yeah, coming
Speech
up on
off.
an hour. So, guys, if you see somebody who is blind or in a wheelchair or any kind of disability, please do not be afraid to help. If we don't need help, we will just say so, and whatnot. And I think that, be generous, be kind, and if you, like I say, if you work for a hotel and, you really want to go out of your way to help blind people, and stuff like that, you want to, and, don't be afraid to go above and beyond, because it shows that, you have a smile on your face and you want to help them. So because we can't see your smile, you have to show us another way that you care about us. Yeah. So, if there's something that you can do to, help us out, don't be afraid to do it. I know most of us will appreciate it. So, right, John?
Exactly.
So, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I know this is officially my longest video I've ever done, but it's very, very well worth it. I do hope that you enjoy this, and like I said, I'll put a link to John's channel, and of course I've got more videos coming up myself. So John, any last?
Yeah. If you guys would also like to subscribe to my channel as well, I'm at John's Blind Life Story.
John's Blind Life Story.
Yeah. And John Sanders' Blind Life Story, excuse me. To subscribe on that, click the little bell icon notification to get notified when new content is when I will be posting new content. When we will be posting new content.
Yeah.
Now,
feel free to
subscribe to each of our channels, so you'll be notified when we post new content on each of our channels. Now, as far as for me, what I will be covering is mostly me being out in the community. You may see some unusual things that will be soon. Again, don't be and again, please, if if you see me around, don't be afraid to come up and say hi to me or ask if I need any assistance or whatever. I won't bite you. I'm harmless. I'm very friendly and outspoken and outgoing.
Yeah, me too. So
please don't be afraid to do that.
Yeah.
And I know that some of you out there may be a little bit hard to convince, but I'm telling you, we blind people are not bad like you guys seem to think we are. We're not.
Nope. So if you give us a chance, we'll give you a chance. Right, John?
Exactly.
So, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. That'll be about that for this time. And we hope you enjoyed your little talk. If you have any questions about the video, leave it in the comment, and keep it respectful, please, guys.
If we get any kind of hate speech, any kind of negativity, we will be blocking these comments,
deleting the comments,
and you will not hear from us.
So we would love to reply to your comment. I would like to reply to your comment, I should say. So so guys, thank you so much for watching, and do subscribe and and if you like the video, hit the like button and whatnot. So that'll be about it. Thanks for watching, guys.